All right, so today we're going to be going over Go Math lesson 12.1. It's talking about measurement. So that's our new unit, and what our new chapter is in Go Math is measurement and converting measurements like feet to yards or centimeters to meters, and also learning about basic measurements and what you would use to measure, what terms you would use to measure different things. So we're going to be talking about customary units first today, and then we're going to talk about metric units as well today. So it's a lot of, shouldn't be brand new to you, should be review from third grade. I know I used to teach my third graders about measurement, but just a refresher about customary units of measurement. So customary units are what we use in the United States most often. It's what you're going to see on most things that are sold, or when you're talking about length or weight of something, you would talk about pounds, or length, you might talk about feet or inches. That's called customary. That's the English system that we have and we've kept since we were part of England back before the American Revolution. So the length, the customary units of length that we use are inch, foot, yard, and mile. Those are the ones we use the most often. And if you want to remember about how big an inch is, it's about the top of your finger. Your finger, the top little portion of your finger out of the three parts that your finger is made up of. So the part with the fingernail is about an inch. The length of a license plate is about 1 foot. A ruler is a standard ruler, is also 1 foot long. Baseball bat is about a yard long, okay? And you could walk a mile, depending on how fast you walk, you could walk a mile in about 20 minutes, okay? Jake says that the length of his bike is about 4 yards. Use the benchmark units below to determine if Jake's statement is reasonable. So could Jake's bike be 4 baseball bats long? No, that would be way too long. So since a baseball bat is 1 yard long, Jake's bike is shorter than 4 times that length. So his bike is shorter than 4 yards long. So Jake's statement is not reasonable. I want to make my color different, and I need to make my words a little smaller. So from now on, my words will be, okay, Jake's bike is about, and if you look up here at the picture, they have a baseball bat next to a bike. So it is about 1 baseball bat long. Okay. And same thing I'm doing here. When you complete this page, if you're doing it on Classkick, make sure you move your box, your text box up, so that I can read your answers. So it's not down here where the words are or somewhere else where I can't read it. Okay, so just take a couple extra seconds and move that box up. Once you clicked off of it, it's easier to move. It gives you this little cursor here, the little black cross, so that you can move it where you need to move it so that I can read it. Here's another example. These are customary units of liquid volume. So 1 cup is equal to 8 fluid ounces. You might see a cup like this in your kitchen for measuring when you're cooking. A pint is this small container like this that you might buy milk or half and half or something like that in your kitchen. A quart would be a bottle about this size. A half gallon is a container about this size. Sometimes, a lot of times, juice comes in containers like this size, orange juice, etc. And then a gallon would be the largest container. So these run from the smallest to the largest. Ounces is the smallest liquid measurement that we have in customary units, and it takes 8 of those ounces to make a cup. And so a cup is larger than an ounce. But how much liquid is in a mug of hot chocolate? Well, a mug would be about a cup. It would be about 8 fluid ounces or a cup. So we could write that there, 1 cup, about. Okay. Here's some customary units of weight. So if you're measuring how heavy something is, you would use a unit called an ounce. Same word as up here, but totally different measurement. So keep in mind that there are ounces that are liquid measurement of volume, and then there are ounces that are weight measurement, okay? It takes 8 ounces to make a cup. It takes 16 ounces to make a pound. Doesn't make sense. It's not reasonable. It's not logical. It's just the way it is. So you just have to kind of memorize it. 1 ounce is about 5 pencils. That's about the weight of about 5 pencils. A pound is about a loaf of bread, and a ton is about a small car, a smaller size car. A larger car, a big truck would be over a ton, maybe a couple of tons. So how much does a grapefruit weigh? Well, it definitely weighs more than 1 ounce. It weighs more than 5 pencils. And I would say it'd be closer to a loaf of bread. It's probably actually somewhere in between there. But for this example, for this activity, we're just going to estimate it to be about a pound. Okay. I think more reasonably that a grapefruit will weigh about 8 to 10 ounces. So somewhere in between a pound and an ounce. On this side of the page, we have the metric units. Metric units are much more reasonable, much more exact, much more logical to understand. They are all in base 10 units, and the prefixes that go before the terms here, like milli, centa, deci, or killa, are all stay the same no matter what, how you're measuring things, which really helps you to figure out how much it is, how much the weight of it is, how much the volume of it is, etc. And it also helps you to figure out and change from one to the other easier. So a milliliter is about the size, the width of that nail or or a paper clip. Something very skinny is a milliliter. A millimeter, I'm sorry, I said the wrong thing. Millimeter is, we're looking at, meter is for length. So every time you see length, you're going to see meter. A centimeter is about the width of your finger or your fingernail. A decimeter is about the width of your hand from your thumb to the right-hand side of it, okay, or the far side of it by your pinky. A meter is about the width of a door. Door frame is about 1 meter wide. And a kilometer, or kilometer is how you would pronounce that. You could do that in about 10 minutes. While on the other page, it told us that we could walk a mile in about 20 minutes. So that means a kilometer is about half of the distance of a mile. And that's pretty accurate. It's a little bit over half, actually. So the length of your classroom is greater or less than 1 kilometer. Well, we could definitely walk, if we were in our classroom, you could walk from one end to the other in a lot less than 10 minutes. So that means the length of our classroom is less than 1 kilometer, okay? Units of liquid volume. So we had, on the other page, we had customary units that were gallon, pint, cup, ounce. For liquid volume, in the metric system, we have milliliters and liters. You might also sometimes see deciliters, but not very often. Milliliters and liters. Milliliters, 1 drop out of an eyedropper would be a milliliter. It's a very small amount, just like a millimeter is a very small length. A very small amount of liquid would be a milliliter. 1 liter is a water bottle. Most standard water bottles are 1 liter, hold 1 liter of liquid. To get milliliters to liters, you would multiply times 1,000, because milli means thousandth, a thousandth of a liter. It takes 1,000 drops to make 1 liter of water or liquid, okay? So how much medicine is usually in a medicine bottle? About 120 milliliters, because 120 liters, 120 water bottles worth of medicine, no, that doesn't make sense. That sounds like way too much. So 120 milliliters, okay? And I'm gonna move that so I can read it. Metric units of mass. So on the other page, we had customary units of mass. Those were things like pounds, ounces. What else? That was it. Pounds and ounces. Oh, tons, which is the very big unit. So we have grams, which is about a dollar bill weighs a gram. I usually say that a paper clip weighs about a gram. One paper clip, one small one. A kilogram would be a baseball bat. Okay, so it takes 1,000 grams to make 1 kilogram. Okay, so about how much is the mass of a paper clip? Well, I just told you that because I usually say that a paper clip is a gram, so it is a gram. About the mass of a paper clip is about a gram each. It would take 1,000 paper clips to make a kilogram of weight. Okay, so the next page that you're going to be working on, you're going to use benchmarks to choose the metric unit that you would use to measure each. They have the metric units that you're going to use over here on the side, and you need to figure out which one you would use. So to find mass of a strawberry, so mass, we're going to look over here, we're going to look for the ones that tell us about mass. If we've forgotten, we can flip back and you can see right here the metric units of mass. They gave us 2 of them, gram and kilogram. So we're going to look on this list, gram and kilogram. Here they are right together. A mass of a strawberry would be closer to the weight of a dollar bill, or the closer to the weight of a baseball bat. Closer to the weight of a dollar bill. So gram is what should go here. Okay, that's what we would use to measure the mass of a strawberry. The length of a cell phone, we're using metric again. When we're looking at length, if we went back to this other page, we could see length is all meters, millimeters, centimeters, decimeters, meters, or kilometers. So we're looking at the length of a cell phone. It wouldn't be a milliliter. Well, that's because that's volume. Centimeter or meter or kilometer are the 3 metric units of length that they give us here. Meter is too big. That's long, like a baseball bat. Centimeter is the width of my finger, or meter is, sorry, the width of a doorway. So centimeter is what I would want to use here for. And I need to move that box so that I can put a new box. Sometimes you have to do that too. So the length of a cell phone would be measured in centimeters. Okay, it's more than 1 centimeter. Mass of a strawberry could also, you could say grams, because it'd be more than 1 gram, but not as much as a kilogram, not 1,000 grams. Circle the better estimate. The width of my desk at school would be 10 meters or 1 meter. Definitely, whoops, and I have the wrong color. Let me get a color you can see. 1 meter, okay? The amount of liquid a punch bowl holds, 2 liters or 20 liters, probably closer to 2, okay? 20 would be a lot of liquid. That would have to be a really big punch bowl. The distance between Seattle and San Francisco, 6 miles or 680 miles. Definitely 680 miles. You could not go walk between Seattle and San Francisco. In 6 times 20 would be 180 minutes. 180 minutes walking. No, that would never work. You would not get that. You would not get that distance. Okay. Over here, I want you to work these problems on your own. You're going to do the same thing you did up here. You're going to look at these customary units, however, in order to figure out which ones you would use to do the length or the weight. If you need help, if you scroll back 2 pages to this customary units, it tells you the customary units and the benchmarks for those customary units. Okay, so go back to that page to help yourself figure it out, okay? Complete the sentences down here, writing more or less, okay? So again, this is customary units. Oh, not here. Sorry, this one is metric, okay? For 13 through 15, use benchmarks to explain your answer. So Christina is making macaroni and cheese for her family. Would Christina use 1 pound of macaroni or 1 ounce of macaroni? She would use 1 ounce. Sorry, 1 pound. Because 1 ounce would not be enough. Okay, something along those lines is a good answer to that question. You could say 1 ounce would be a very little amount and she's feeding more than 1 person. 1 ounce would not even feed 1 person, something like that, okay? And there are multiple people that she needs to feed. Which is the better estimate for length of a kitchen table? 200 centimeters or 200 meters? Again, I'm gonna let you figure that out, and then you would just say that the other one would be too much or too little. Okay. Jody wants to weigh her cat and measure its standing height. Which 2 units should she use? Well, look back on the other pages and pick a unit of measurement that tells that is for mass or weight, right? Mass and weight mean the same thing. They're synonyms of each other. And height or length. Okay, those are synonyms of each other. So you can do them both in metric, you could do them both in customary, or you could do 1 in customary and 1 in metric. It doesn't matter to me, but you're going to find one that would be reasonable for a cat to weigh and one that would be reasonable for the height of a cat. Okay. Number 16, Dalton used benchmarks to estimate that there are more cups in quarts than quarts in 1 gallon. There are more cups than quarts in 1 gallon. Is Dalton's estimate reasonable? Let's go back over here and look at the customary units of volume, okay? And Dalton said that there are more cups in gallons than quarts in gallons. That makes sense because cups are smaller and you're going to have more of them that fill up that same amount than something that holds more. The quart has more. It's a larger amount of liquid. So Dalton's answer is reasonable because, yes, because cups are smaller, so there are more of them in a gallon than quarts. Okay? Something like that makes sense. All right, select the correct word to complete the sentence. Justine is thirsty after running 2 miles. She should drink 1 pint, 1 meter, or 10 pounds of water. Go back to those pages, those other 2 pages, and take a look and see which one makes the most sense in that scenario. That is your assignment for today, to finish all 4 of those problems. I did most of them for you. You should be able to figure out the rest. I hope you watched this video. If you did watch this video, type in the word pizza in your private comments and I will give you bonus points. If you watch the video, type in this code word pizza into the private comments and I will give you bonus points for completing your work. All right, good luck. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.